So just wanted to speak to everyone a little bit about my experience so far with YouTube and thumbnails. It's been a real mixed bag. We've had our channel up now for, I guess, about 3.5, 4 months, and we've had a couple videos, one in particular that got some real traction, at least at our level. We got about 7,000 views pretty quickly, and then it just sort of died off. But the one thing I wanted to share about my thumbnail experience was that we had couple videos, that one in particular, where I started out with one thumbnail and wasn't getting much traction at all, not many click-throughs, and then decided to make a change on the thumbnail and saw a dramatic increase in traffic and click-throughs. So the one I had up recently was about my experiences as a metal detectorist during my lifetime, and we actually had really minimal clicks on that. I put a lot of time into this video telling my story. It was almost a half-hour long. And then I made some changes to the thumbnail, and I'm gonna pull that up here as I'm talking and show you what we did. If you're not separating yourself from the crowd and not getting those clicks because it's nothing really interesting to the potential viewer, meaning if it's interesting to you, that's great, but that's not what the viewer's looking for. The viewer's looking for something that either maybe solves a problem or really piques their interest or curiosity. And so I think what I was able to do was pique the curiosity. Initially, I was giving away too much with the thumbnail. In other words, I'm showing my fiance, Mara, who is also working with me on this channel. And I'm basically, my first thumbnail you'll see here was, treasure and love. And basically it's saying, oh, well, the guy, fell in love because of metal detecting or something and gave it away. When I changed the thumbnail from that to treasure and more, basically went from about a 1.9% click through up to, we were going out over 6, which I thought was pretty good. And as usual with a lot of our videos, we were really ramping up quickly. And then once, I guess, the algorithm couldn't find any more of the viewers that it wanted to find, and the click-through rate started to dwindle down a little bit, more like into the 4s, all of a sudden, they just cut us off. That just happened today, unfortunately. So now we're getting next to nothing as far as reach. It's just a trickle. But we were reaching out pretty well with that video, and we had escaped our gray zone, as you might be familiar with, and I thought we were really going to go somewhere, but that one didn't hit. The one that hit best for us was another thumbnail experiment that I did, where this time I had used 3 different thumbnails, which you can do on YouTube. It's a test. It goes, I think, for about 12 or 14 days. And I actually abandoned, once it starts to give you stats, which takes 2 or 3 days or at least several hundred views, as I recall, I looked in there and I saw that 2/3 of my clicks were coming from one of the 3 thumbnails. And then I immediately canceled the other 2. Also, the important thing is not just the click-through rate, but it's important to know that what YouTube, I think, is really also looking for is that view duration, how many hours of view they're getting for their ads, with your particular video. So it's 2 things to look at. What I'm finding is the click-through rate, but or maybe more importantly, the amount of view time. And also I noticed on this latest video about metal detecting, when I changed that thumbnail, we got a higher click-through rate because I think people were more intrigued, but then I noticed my average view time went from like 5 minutes down to 3 minutes and 40 seconds, and YouTube didn't like that. So what I'm finding is it's this sort of magic triangle with these thumbnails that you've got to have something that's really eye-catching to grab their eyes. Then the title, this is what I want to say I think is really important. The title has to really come through in the video. In other words, if you're putting a title and a thumbnail out there that really aren't that relevant to what the content is about, people I think are going to click out very quickly. They're going to stop viewing. So if you want that longer term view, you got to deliver on the back end with your video of what you're talking about in your title. So it has to really deliver what you say it's about. So I think I did a pretty good job of that on the Crypto Visionary one, and I'll pull that up on the screen to show you that thumbnail. We started out with 3 different thumbnails, and we made a very slight change in what we were actually describing as far as the verbiage in the thumbnail. Took out, the 3 names of the different cryptocurrencies and replaced it with cryptocurrency and the name Visionary, and that's all we had. So I think a lot of the time with these thumbnails, the thing to remember is probably less is more. Now, I am new to YouTube, but I have been someone who's been on the internet for, geez, over 30 years. I started with a website for my first business back in the mid to late 90s, probably the late 90s, around 98. And it was so early on, we were still dealing with Netscape and AOL. And, I was actually a sub page on another gardening called GardenNet website. So I couldn't even get my own URL at the very beginning. As soon as I got my own URL and started getting some terms up for that website, I was just kind of owned the space. So I'm really enjoying learning all about YouTube, and I think the search terms are very important. I'm using vidIQ to analyze what people are searching for in YouTube, because I think it's really important to create videos that are basically in sync with what people are looking for. Even though I would say that several of my videos are more about things I'm passionate about, and I'm chronicling my life, my boys and my fiance and her children and our family, I do feel that if you want to get quite a few views and eventually get monetized, you do need to pick topics that people are, there's traffic, there's searches on YouTube. And I think vidIQ is doing a good job for me. This is nothing to promote vidIQ. It's just what the service I signed up for. I used to use some other search engine optimization tools like Word Tracker back in the day for my websites. YouTube's a little more like the Wild West, I think, but it's a lot more complicated because now you've got this triage that you've got to manage with the quality of your video and the subject matter, and then you've got the title, and then you've got the thumbnail. And I think those three things, like the magic triangle, it all needs to align, because if it doesn't, it just doesn't seem to go anywhere. Shorts, we did quite a few of those early on using a program I was using called Opus Clips. It works quite well. But what I'm finding is I'm probably going to abandon the shorts, because I'm finding that, I had this one that was like, we did some wood stove chicken, how to cook chicken in your wood stove, and thought it was a pretty cool concept. People seem to really like it. A couple of the shorts one got 10,000, one got 33,000 views quickly. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is going to really help, promote our channel and our longer format videos. Well, the funny thing was, the main wood stove chicken video still only has like 450 views. People that are watching shorts are not going over and then looking at your other content or the long version of the video. Even though there's a way to link that in the short, they don't do it. I think it's a much younger audience. I think it's an audience that's just looking in there for a quick hit on something, and they saw that maybe actually pour some hot juice got spilled on me. I think people enjoyed that, and then they wanted to stick around for a minute to see what was inside the foil as I wrapped it up. Nobody I know has been able to figure out how to change the image that's in your short. I couldn't seem to figure out how to grab the image that I wanted. It would just give me these random strange images, or catching me midstream, mid-sentence, just took one frame, and it didn't always work so well. So those are just some thoughts and a little bit of feedback from early on as an early YouTuber, 3 months in. It's been a lot of hard work, probably produced about 25 videos. I've put in hundreds of hours so far. I really am enjoying the process. If nothing more, I think it's a great way to document what you're doing in your life. I mean, I'm starting a disc golf course here on the coast of Maine, and my kids just started college down in South Carolina. And, there's some interesting things going on in my life. We're doing a lot of sort of slow living homesteading here in Maine, and trying to share a lot of that information out there. So if you enjoyed what I've contributed today, take a look at our channel, and, I'll hope to catch you again sometime. I'm into a lot of different things. Our channel is not focused on any one thing, but if you like variety, we have a video about Bitcoin for boomers, for example, and then I talk about Maine in winter, and then we talk about metal detecting, or, I'm doing one on fishing. I'm doing them. They're all over the place. It's just a guy with a lot of interest. Too many interests, too little time, I guess is what I'd say. So that's it for now. Thanks.